Hi guys, welcome and thank you for joining me today. Colossians 3:13 mentions that we're to forbear one another and forgive each other. Ephesians 4:32 says that we're supposed to be going around being tenderhearted and forgiving one another. You know, forgiveness is a theme that keeps popping up over and over again, especially in the Bible and Christian life. If we look at Jesus' life, we look at just the immense capacity, the immense ability that he has and had to forgive the people that wronged him. I mean, he walked around just constantly ridiculed, constantly being persecuted. And then as he was being put to death on the cross, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." And he also asked God the Father to not lay their sin against them. So today we're going to look at forgiveness. Today we're going to look at, some of the things that happens when, I don't forgive, or some of the things that can happen in a relationship when, forgiveness is present. And you may have heard the cliche that says refusing to forgive somebody is like drinking poison yourself and expecting it to hurt the other person or to kill the other person. And really, in my own life and my own experience, the times that I have failed to forgive other people, I've seen that to be true. And I've seen it in countless countless other people's lives where they're operating with a refusal, or something in them is keeping them from forgiving somebody that wronged them, somebody that hurt them, and they're miserable. I mean, it's miserable having drunk the poison and expecting it to kill the other person. It's not a fun place to be. So, looking at Jesus' life, we see that he just pretty much instantly forgave. But I want to challenge that a little bit and say that, I think a lot of the time, I think just like Colossians 3:13 says, I think that he forbore. He chose to forbear instead of having to forgive after an offense was taken. You see, what I've seen is that I can choose to be offended. I can choose to take offense at something that somebody else does to me, or I can choose not to. If somebody threw baseball purposefully and hit me right in the face with it, and that's a great opportunity to be angry, to not forgive, but to take an offense and to, feel justified in being angry at the other person and not forgiving them, even if especially if they did it intentionally. Even if they did it unintentionally, that's still a great opportunity to never forgive the other person. And before we get too far into this, I just want to say that forgiveness is not the same as reestablishing trust. Trust comes afterward. Trust has to be rebuilt, but forgiveness is a choice. Likewise, unforgiveness is a choice. So I have the opportunity to choose to be offended, and therefore I would have to, or then I would be in need of forgiving the person that I chose to be offended with, just like I have the choice to be not offended, and then I don't even have to forgive the other person. So this looks like, something happens, I get hurt, somebody does something to me, or, something like that, and I choose to just keep on, loving the person, keep on doing whatever it is that, I set out to do, not letting that person and what they did have space in my mind. I'm not going to let it distract me. I'm not going to let it come in and give me a bad attitude. I'm not going to choose to be angry with the person. I'm not going to choose to ream the other person out. I'm not going to choose to react negatively. No, instead, if I forbear with the other person, or if I forbear with the person that wronged me, I am choosing to not even get offended. I am choosing to not even get angry. I am choosing to not even let that action or hurt be a distraction. Now, I'm not saying that I just walk on as if nothing ever happened. No, it's my responsibility to be able to give good information, to say how that action affected me emotionally. But if I don't have to forgive them, I'm in a place that I'm free. No matter how they respond or how they react, I'm completely free. And whereas if I choose to get angry, choose to take offense, choose to just really, really have a chip on my shoulder, and maybe even give them a cold shoulder. If I choose that route, I'm harboring bitterness and I'm harboring resentment, and that's a huge wall that has to come down before I can, have a good relationship with that person again. So first off, I can choose to not even take offense and therefore not even have to forgive, but also alongside that, give good information on how I felt when that happened, or how I felt when the person did whatever they did. Now let's say that, I took offense and I got angry. I chose to have a chip on my shoulder. I started resenting the other person. I started just loathing any time I knew that I'd have to be around them. I started feeling just the anger and bitterness rise up in me fresh every time that I thought about them. This is the time, or those things show that this time I haven't forgiven the other person. Now, for me to have forgiven the other person, I wouldn't be feeling all these negative things. But the fact that the negative attributes, the negative things I'm feeling are present, and especially the bitterness, especially the resentment, just shows that I haven't forgiven them. I still have something against them. Now, this could be resolved in a number of ways. I could go up to the person and say, hey, when you did this, I felt this way. The other person could respond with, hey, whoa, I didn't even think that it would be interpreted that way. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'll work on my actions. I'll work on my words. And then that could really open up the conversation or the relationship to go deeper, to really, bring comfort to both people involved in the relationship. And also, I could choose to forgive that other person, even without them apologizing. I can look at the situation with empathy. I can look at, okay, I know this other person was under a lot of stress. I know that they're dealing with a lot of emotional pain, a lot of hurt, and I can look at it from that perspective and think, okay, I can think the best about this person. What they did, yeah, it stunk. It doesn't feel good still, but if I look at it from a lens of looking at them in the best of light, it gives me a good opportunity to see things differently, to be able to choose to forgive, to not walk in bitterness, to not walk in anger, but to really be empathetic and, go back to that person and just kind of start digging into that situation, like not in a mean way, not in a way that is prying or kind of says that, I'm frustrated and angry with you. But no, I can go and talk with them if I've already forgiven them, chosen to forgive them. I can go and talk with them in a way that comes alongside and shows, hey, I got hurt, but I still accept you. I'm hurting, but I still want to be with you. I want a relationship to be able to handle this conflict. And I want to come out on the other side of this, closer together. I want us to be able to work together and, have a great, meaningful, and comforting relationship. What was going on? What did I do something? Were you dealing with something else going on at the time? And chances are, if it's approached this way, in a way that is assuming the best about the person that did the hurtful thing, and I go to them gently and just try to start seeing things from their perspective and start trying to figure out what they were going through, either at the time that they did the hurtful thing or at the time just before whatever hurt me happened. And somewhere in there's also going to be a chance for me to say, when you did this, this is how it felt to me. I know it wasn't purposeful. I know you didn't hurt me on purpose, but moving forward, I just wanted to let you know so that our relationship can deepen, so that we can both have comfort and we can both walk in peace, and we can have a great friendship and relationship. Further, if I've chosen to forgive people, I may not get a chance to talk with them again. I may not have the opportunity to go and discuss it with them. I may not have the opportunity to to talk it over and to figure out, what was going on behind the scenes in their life. And I may not be able to share what happened to me, with good information. In this scenario, it's completely my choice whether I walk in bitterness and have a chip on my shoulder and just think that everybody who resembles that person, whether it be how they look, whether it be how they act, whether it be how they talk, behave, any number of things, anything that reminds me of that person, I can choose to just have a prejudice against people like that. And that's a form of bitterness. That's a form of unforgiveness. Or I can say, I know that person did that. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but I know how I felt about it, and I have a choice now. I can choose to be angry, I can choose to be bitter, or I can choose to be free. For me personally, choosing to be free, especially in the situations where I don't have an opportunity to go and talk with a person, it's really given me peace in life. And choosing to be free looks like, okay, I forgive that person. They don't owe me anything. I'm not angry with them. Sure, I might be sad if I think about the situation. I might have some of those same feelings come back up. I might start feeling angry again. I might start feeling a little bit bitter if I start thinking on what happened. But having forgiven them, it ultimately comes down to a bottom line of they owe me nothing. They don't have to do anything to solve anything in my life. They don't have to do anything for me to have peace. They don't have to do anything to bring our relationship back. I'm good with me. I've got self-control, calm confidence. I've got my boundaries, and one of these boundaries is I'm setting the limit on myself that I'm not operating in unforgiveness. I'm not operating in bitterness. I'm making the conscientious choice to move on, look past it, and acknowledge that, yes, that happened, but they don't owe me anything. Yes, they did that, but I'm not gonna, demand and just really feel it in my mind that, they got to do something to make this better. No, I'm choosing to, not lay that sin to their charge. I'm choosing to live my life in peace, live my life freely, and I'm choosing to release them. They're not a slave to my will and emotions, just like I'm not a slave to their will and emotions. I mean, honestly, to not forgive somebody is to think that I can somehow control them by somehow not forgiving them is going to make them, solve something in my life, bring peace and comfort to my life. It just doesn't happen that way. So let's work on this all together. I'm still working on it myself. Like I keep saying, this is a journey, and this is something that I want to understand more fully. This is something that I'm praying for more wisdom on. But ultimately, I'm choosing to forgive no matter what situation is presented to me, and it's really freed me a lot. And I hope the same for you. Look at yourself, look at your life. Is there anybody you have a chip on your shoulder with? Is there anybody that you've been given the cold shoulder? Is there anybody that you have harbored bitterness and resentment towards? If so, forgive them. Forgive them, release them. They don't owe you anything. Just make that choice. So thanks again for watching today. There's going to be a few questions to follow. Take some time, go through them, just kind of see where you're at, see if anything pops up that, oh man, I got to forgive that person, or maybe I got to forgive myself. Maybe I'm bitter and angry at myself, or something like that. And invite the Holy Spirit in to show you these things that need some forgiveness slathered all over them. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you back here again.